All right, as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. All right, I think it's working this time. Second time's the charm, third time's the charm, right? So good morning, good morning. I apologize for being late, but I was having a little bit of a technical snafu going on. Let me make sure. Hold on. All right, now we are live. All right, perfect. Jeez. Jeez Louise. All right. So now we are good. We are live. All right. Wait a minute. It says we're having trouble streaming. Nope, it's showing I'm live there. Okay. So I guess we are good, I think. So if you're on Facebook, please let me know that you can see me live because it keeps giving me a little alert on StreamYard saying that it's not working. Or maybe it's Instagram. I don't know. So it is having a hard time this morning. Or maybe I'm having a hard time with it. So thank you for being here. And I've got the affirmation in the journal prompt already. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys just a little bit. So to start with, thank you for being flexible. I know I have changed everything quite a bit. Good morning, Wendy. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Because it's like everything's telling me something different. And I went on once already and it was like nothing was working on Facebook end. And so I had to cancel everything and start over. So here we are. So thank you for being here. So what I wanted to talk about today was something that might stir something in your chest. And so thank you for being here live, Wendy. And whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I appreciate you tremendously. And so the title of this one is You Weren't Made to Shrink, You Were Made to Shine. And I think that is something that we all, hold on. Why? All right. I've got too many buttons to push here. I neglected to push one of them. All right. So I wanted to talk about something that might stir a little something in your chest. I know it does for me. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Great to see you. So, the space where TikTok challenging, I don't really know how to find you. Okay, I will see if I can. So you give me your information on TikTok and I will see if I can locate you. But it is the.enlightened.p, the letter P. That's how I'm listed on there. And I think you can find it from the Enlightened Peach, but I have more than one, but that's the one I'm focusing on there. So send me a thing for what you are called on there, and I'll see if I can find you and we'll connect. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So there's a space within us, and I know I've recently had this come up for me where my voice echoes a little bit louder, my heart beats a little bit faster, and all eyes are suddenly on me. I don't know if you guys saw, I just shared the video I did for this speaking challenge. And the interesting that came up was that it's been a dream of mine for many years to get up on the stage. And I'll remember I went with a friend of mine to the theater where I think it was Rachel Hollis. She had she had speaking engagements all over the place, but what she did was she had one of them recorded, and she put it in the theater. So you could go into the theater and watch it, not live, but you could see some of it behind the scenes and stuff. And as we were watching it, and my friend poked me in the elbow and she said, "I bet you wish you were up on that stage, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." But as much as I wished it, it scared the crap out of me, to be perfectly honest, right? And so it felt like a dream, but it also felt like danger, right? So the truth of the matter is, and we all fall into this at some place, because not everybody wants to get up on the stage, right? But we a lot of times shrink ourselves down when we were made to shine, because the world needs your truth, your voice, your laugh, your insights, even your awkward pauses, your full presence, not the watered down version, not the one that says, "I have it all together" version, right? But you right now as you are. So today I want you to remember this phrase, and let me make sure I've got this affirmation right. Let me look at it real quick. Yes, I do. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to throw the affirmation out here. Someone needs to hypnotize that fear away. That's right. That's right. And I will say, I was so excited when I created my video and I sent it to one of my friends. And I said, "Can you look at this and make sure that there's not too many pauses, there's not too much of this and everything?" And she said, "I love it." And so my response wasn't thanks. It was, "Are you sure I didn't have too much of an awkward pause in the first of that?" And she said, "No." And so I just said, "Okay, well, I'm submitting it." And the thing is that will I actually be competing on stage? I don't know, because they take all these videos, and from what I saw from the hashtag, there were well over 1,000 people that had submitted a video, and they're not going to have 1,000 people up on the stage. So I don't even know how they're narrowing it down. So I may not be up on the stage with this competition, but to me, it was creating the video and stepping out of my comfort zone to actually post it and to submit it, so that and as I hit submit into the group and of all these speakers, my heart fluttered a little bit, right? Because as much as I want to be up there, a part of me still feels a little anxious about it. But I choose to move through the discomfort to get to where I want to go, right? So our affirmation for today is, I take up space with confidence and grace. Keep trying. Oh, yes. Even if they say, I don't get picked, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I mean, I do want to be there, but if it's not here, then it's going to be somewhere else. So, and I speak like I speak here with you guys. I've done some in-person talks. I did a convention. It was only about, there was probably about 50 people in the room. And I teach, and then we're having the retreat. We're doing the retreat in September, and I'll be speaking there. So it's not like I don't speak. It was just, this was just a bigger venue of getting out there and getting more visible. So I'm going to keep doing it. Don't you worry. I will keep doing it. All right. So let me get back to my notes. So make sure you write it down and internalize. I take up space with confidence and grace. And it doesn't matter if you feel it in the moment or not. You're claiming it. So if it feels too far outside of your comfort zone to say, I take up space, you can say, I'm beginning to take up space. I'm starting to take up space. So whatever feels good, and just let that affirmation settle into your body. Speak it out loud with emotion, with feeling, and just feel it land. Because the thing is that's important to remember is the stage isn't reserved for people who are ready. It's claimed by the ones who decide, right? So the thing is, your stage may not be on a big stage like what I'm wanting, right? Your stage could be being in a meeting. Maybe you're at work and you want to voice your opinion and you hold it in. Maybe it's any kind of mic, being on a podcast, going live in a group. Maybe it's as simple as a moment with one of your friends. Maybe it is as simple as holding a boundary that you've been letting people cross for a while. There's so many places that we shrink instead of shine. So like I said, there's room for you, your magic, your message, your presence on every stage that life presents. And your stage doesn't actually mean a literal stage. It's any place that you want to speak up, you want to share, and for whatever reason, you hold yourself back, right? So I ask you, if you're watching here live, if you're, let me check, see where we're at over here. If you're watching here live, if you're watching the replay, share with me. Is there a place right now, a stage that you are in, whether it's, like I said, whether it's in your work, a meeting, a relationship, an actual stage? Is there some place that you're holding back and not speaking with the confidence and grace that you want to? So I'm going to wait a moment. I should have cued some music, right? I have got to figure out a way to get that Jeopardy music on this thing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt. All right, so the journal prompt for today is, where in my life am I holding back from the spotlight? And how would it feel to step into it fully? And remember, the spotlight doesn't necessarily mean, like for me, it is getting up on the stage. Maybe for you, it's speaking to someone in a coffee shop when you go in. Maybe it is having a conversation with someone that you love that doesn't feel comfortable. Maybe it's speaking up at work, sharing some part of your world with a friend that you've kind of been holding back on. Is there a place in your life where you've been holding back? And how would it feel to step fully into it? So remember, the spotlight is a mindset, not a stage. It's not about literal public speaking, which is what I want to do. But the spotlight could be sharing your opinion in a meeting, like I said, right? Posting your truth online. A lot of times we show the highlight reel of our life, but we don't show anything else. Maybe it's setting a boundary in a relationship. Anywhere you make yourself visible is a stage, and you belong on all of them. because shrinking serves no one. When you dim your light, you don't make others brighter. You just leave the room darker. Think about that. You're not taking the brightness, right? And if you're dimming your light, you're not making other people shine more. You're just leaving the room dark. Think about that. Because we create more possibility for others when we allow ourselves to be fully seen. And when it comes to, like I just said, setting boundaries in a relationship, right? Because that's one that's big for me, because so many times in my life, especially in romantic relationships, in the past, a lot of times I let people just roll over my boundaries. And I didn't do anything about it. So I was allowing other people to essentially just do whatever the heck they wanted to, right? Which didn't make them brighter. It shrunk me down. So the room was even darker for me. And a lot of times I didn't share my inner thoughts because, for one thing, I was a little bit embarrassed about some of them, right? The feeling small and stuff. Like when I shared that little video, that less than 3-minute video for that competition, it kind of, as much as I wanted it, the sharing it onto my personal page was a little bit harder. But then after I did, I thought, oh, that felt good, right? Hold on just a second. Let me get to my mute. All right. Almost forgot to unmute myself. So the thing that I really am tapping in a lot more of is that visibility requires vulnerability. Even though sometimes it feels scary. And I don't know if that happens to you or not, but that has happened to me many times. But what if the very thing you're tempted to hide are the things that make people fall in love with you, trust you, and feel safe around you? So think about it. Especially, I keep referring back to the dating scene because to me that's where it seems more obvious. But let's say you meet someone and you want to get to know them a little bit, and all you see is their polished side, and all they see about you is the polished side, right? Well, at some point you get to know each other and you realize you don't even like each other. But what if you were okay with being seen in the beginning? And then when that happens, you're actually drawing in people that are attracted to the you that you are and not the you that you're projecting. And then you will be attracted to them that they are, not the one that they're trying to woo you over with. And it's a much deeper connection. And so for me, when I'm on here with you guys, when I'm on different social media platforms, I'm not really trying to show the most polished version of me. And I did attempt to for a while, because I thought that's what everybody wanted, was not the vulnerable side, right? And so it's taken some really deep reflection on my part. And then not only that, but it's taken a lot of self-growth to be okay with whether someone says something that's not very nice, which can happen. I know, especially like sometimes on TikTok, one of my friends that's on there, she'll have some people that'll pop in and say some of the most rude things, right? So at some point, I started thinking, well, wait a minute. I don't want that to happen. But then I realized, well, it doesn't matter if somebody pops in and they're rude. It's more about them than it is about me. And so I'm okay with it. And so once I got to that place, it was like, okay, I'll get on here and talk, and everything will be just fine. And if somebody comes in and they're not very kind, that'll be all right too. Hello, Wendy. Hello. Good to see you here. So I'm going to go back to our affirmation. And I tried to make it short and sweet this time. Sometimes I get a little too long-winded on them. But our affirmation today is, I take up space with confidence and grace. And remember, if that feels a little outside of your comfort zone, you can change it a little bit by just adding a couple of words. I'm beginning to take up space, or I'm starting to take up space. Whatever feels the most comfortable for you. And make sure you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere that you're going to see it today, because it's really important. It's helping you to tap into who you really are. And then our journal prompt. Where in my life am I holding back from the spotlight? And remember, the spotlight is not necessarily up on the stage. It's anywhere that you're wanting to speak up and you're not. Whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in business, whether that's at work, whether it's on your social media, wherever it is that you're holding back. And then how would it feel to step into it fully as your authentic you? Oh, beautiful, Wendy. I'm glad. So remember, you get your notebook out or your journal out, you put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt, and then you tap into it. You say it out loud with emotion, not volume. You can do volume if you want to, but the volume doesn't matter. It's the emotion that you put behind the words. And then you're going to set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes, and you're going to tap into the silent space. And that means you're going to focus on your breath. You're going to get quiet. And that doesn't mean that your mind doesn't start chattering, because that we're human and that's going to happen. So as soon as you notice the chatter of whether it's, my feet are uncomfortable, I need to change position, what's for breakfast, what's for lunch, right? Whatever that chatter is, you quiet that chatter by just starting to focus on your breath. So you just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then sometimes what helps me is sometimes my chatter can still go crazy. It just depends on what's going on in my life that day, right? And so if it still won't quiet down, that's when I focus on sounds. So I'll label them. So right now, if I wasn't talking here, I hear my ceiling fan that's making a little bit of a sound. I can hear the hum of my computer. I can sometimes hear one of the cats outside of the door. I can hear somebody outside with a blower, a weed eater or something. So you just label sounds, because what that does is it brings you into the present moment, because you can't think two thoughts at the same time. So that's why when you're in this flow state and then suddenly you realize that your brain is off somewhere else, you just bring it back. And you do that however often you need to in that 10 to 15 minutes. And in the beginning, it's going to feel like you're constantly having to say, wait a minute, breath, sound, right? And that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just doing it. That's the thing. Just do it. And as you keep going with this, you're almost training your brain that, okay, it's safe to just sit quietly and contemplate. And you don't have to, in this 10 to 15 minutes, you don't have to be talking about or rehearsing the phrases, the affirmation, the journal prompt, or anything like that. Your subconscious mind already knows, and it's sitting back and it's paying attention. It's thinking, it's listening, it's going through the data banks and seeing what's there. And then when the timer goes off and you put your pen to paper and you answer this question, where in my life am I holding back from the spotlight? You might be surprised at some of the things that show up. So don't judge anything, don't critique it, don't dismiss it. Just whatever shows up, write it out. Just give it everything. Even if it seems like it has not a doggone thing to do with what we're talking about. Just write it down anyway. And then once you've just written down everything you can, you might even ask yourself, is there anything more? And then write some more. And then you answer, how would it feel to step into it fully? Into all those places that you've been holding back. How would it feel to step into it fully? And then you write again. And this exercise will help you see a lot more of what's going on under the surface, because it's the under the surface things, the things in the way in the back of your mind that's ruling the show. Not the things you want to think about or you want to happen. It's the underneath, right? And the more we can bring it into our awareness, the easier it is to reframe it, restructure it. So remember the 3 points. 1, the spotlight's a mindset, not a stage. So your spotlight could be sharing your opinion in a meeting, posting your truth online, or even setting a boundary in a relationship. It's anywhere you make yourself visible is a stage, and you belong on all of them. Number 2, shrinking serves no one. No one. Not you, not anybody else. Because when you dim your light, you don't make others brighter. You just leave the room darker. We create more possibility for others when we allow ourselves to be fully seen. Number 3, visibility requires vulnerability. So being seen can feel scary. But what if the very thing you're tempted to hide are the things that make people fall in love with you, to trust you, and even feel safe around you? What if? Right? So what are you holding back from stepping into your light? And what would it feel like to own it, even just a little today? Yes. Well, I can do that, Wendy. When I will get off here, I will post the affirmation and the journal prompt, and I'll post those talking points too, because I've got it here in my notes. I wanted to make sure I had notes that I could stay on task, even though I still deviate a little bit, and that I wanted to make sure I give you some really, really, to me, valuable information today, not just an affirmation and a journal prompt. And so that is my goal for these Monday motivations, is to find something that's resonates in my life, and always, always, it seems to be something that somebody else needs. But I'm speaking from experience when I talk about this stuff. Yes, they are definitely a good way to grow. Yes. Thank you for pointing that out, Wendy. I appreciate you. So I will post it in the video as soon as we get finished here. I'll go back and do that. But thank you guys for being here and being patient with me, having the snafu to start with, where I could not get Facebook to go live, and which is where I really wanted to make sure I was here. And then I'm streaming it out in a couple of other places, but I was here for you guys. And so it wasn't going to work if you were the ones that weren't getting it. So, I will see you again next Monday. But between now and then, if there's something that resonates a little bit deeper with what we're talking about, share about it in the group, because I would really love for this to be a conversation that keeps going for the week, not just something I share on Monday and then I come back on Monday and share something else. I want it to be where there's a conversation that starts. I will come back in and check and see. So if something comes up and you want to share, and I mean, if something is really important and you don't want to share it in the group, I understand that too. That can be very vulnerable. And so you're more than welcome to send me a direct message and I'll respond to that too. Thank you, Wendy. You have a blessed day as well. So let's get the conversation started. And like I said, thank you so much for being here today. And I appreciate you immensely. And if I have an extra spot in my schedule where I may come in sometime during the week and share something. But my schedule has been getting really, really filled up. And but it's an exciting filled up. And I want to still be here for you guys. So like Wendy said, have a blessed day, and I will see you next Monday. Mwah. Love you guys.